Welcome to the 9th lesson of Enterprise Quality Management. Quality Audit. In this lesson, we'll try to answer the following questions. What is quality audit? What are the quality audit objectives? What are the audit types? What is the audit process? What are audit documents? What are audit report elements? Quality audit is defined as a systematic and independent examination to determine whether quality activities and related results effectively comply with planned arrangements. Audit purpose. It's important to remember that audit is about fact-finding, not fault-finding. Your role as a quality auditor is not to go look for faults, but to assess the facts about the performance of the system, whether it being positive or negative. What are audit objectives? The objectives of an audit is to assess whether the organization is able to achieve its policies and objectives and business objectives, that the organization is capable of fulfilling its contractual and legal obligations, that the organization is effectively implementing a quality assurance system, What are the audit types? There are 4 audit types: system audit, compliance audit, process audit, and product audit. The system audit probes whether or not there is an organization and quality assurance system in existence and assess their adequacy to meet requirements invoked by a contract. With the compliance audit, the auditor will scrutinize the objective evidence that should be generated by the implementation of the quality system. The auditor checks that the auditee works to the letter of the quality assurance procedure. In the process audit, the process audit provides analysis of elements of a process and appraisal of completeness, correctness, or condition of that process. The 4th type of audit is product audit. The product audit provides quantitative assessment of conformance to required product characteristics. Okay. Let's take a look at 2 key terms used in auditing process. The first one is observation. An observation is made every time an absence of arrangement to meet an Observation. An observation is made every time an absence of an arrangement to meet an important requirement is found. In other words, it's also called non-conformance. Observations are also made when lack of implementation of quality manual or procedures is revealed. The second term used in the auditing process is recommendation. A recommendation describes an acceptable solution to an observation. Another word used for recommendation is corrective action. A recommendation should be written when it is considered helpful to speed up the achievement of an agreement on a corrective action. Audit traceability. Audit traceability is defined as the ability to trace the history, application, or location of an entity by means of recorded identifications. In a product sense, it may relate to the origin of materials and parts, the product processing history, the distribution and location of the product after delivery. Audit and documents. In this slide, we're going to list some of the documents that the auditors look for and go through. Auditors normally look for quality manual, specification document, list of suppliers, SLA or service level agreement contracts, concession waivers. For the specifications, a qualifier should be used to indicate the type of specifications such as product specifications or test specifications. A specification should refer to include drawings, patterns, or other relevant documents. Indicate the means and criteria whereby conformity can be checked. Again, this is totally preventive clause. Make sure the design meets the requirement before going to production. For the suppliers, auditors look for evaluation of subcontractors and vendors and the requirements for purchasing quality products and services. When an auditor conducts SLA contract review, the purpose of the review is to make sure that the SLA contract prevent missing or wrongly written clauses to ensure responsibilities and accuracy. Concession waiver. Concession waiver is a written authorization to use or release a product which does not conform to the specified requirements. A waiver is limited to the shipment of a product that has specific non-conforming characteristics within specific deviations for a limited time or quantity. Basically, the auditor will look if you have used certain items in production that does not meet the highest standard, but within the tolerable range, they look for signature and authorization to use such items. Auditors also look for deviation permit, liability documents, defects and nonconformity, document and data control, communication, and training. For the deviation permit, the auditors look for written authorization to depart from the originally specified requirement for a product prior to its production. A production permit is for a limited quantity or period and for a specific use. Product liability is a generic term used to describe the accountability of a producer or make compensation for loss related to personal injury, property damage, or other harm caused by a product. The legal and financial implications of product liability may vary from one jurisdiction to another. As for defects are the non-fulfillment of an intended usage requirement or reasonable expectations, including one concerned with safety and performance. The expectation must be reasonable under the existing circumstances. For nonconformity is the non-fulfillment of a specified requirement or the departure or absence of one or more quality characteristics or quality system elements from a specified requirement. Communication. Auditors look for memos, look for register of issues, training. They examine the training material available for personnel to conduct their work and work instructions and how to meet quality standards. Quality assurance. Some of the other documents they look for to examine the quality assurance procedures within the organization is any written procedures, processes, or methods, drawings, like engineering drawings, business records, any updating of information, any issues experienced within the quality system. Audit process. The audit process consists of 7 phases. The first one is the pre-audit phase. During this phase, a questionnaire is submitted to the customer and probably is also visited. The second phase, the audit team is selected, each according to their subject matter expertise. If you are auditing the legal department, you'll bring legal expertise. If you're auditing the engineering department, you'll bring an engineer, and so on. After that, the client is notified of the audit. Then an opening or a kickoff meeting is conducted. Then the audit is performed. After the auditor finds non-conformance or finds compliance, he conducts a debriefing meeting with the management team. Then he reports on the compliance of the quality management system within the organization and follow up with the management to see if any corrective actions has been taken and any non-conformances has been rectified. The purpose of the pre-audit questionnaire is to collect information about the company to be audited, to ensure no misunderstanding about the audit scope or its objective, to identify reference documents, and to obtain the quality manual, to visit the facilities and be familiar with the work environments. Audit team selection. The team normally consists of the team leader, which is usually a person with an ISO 9000 an ISO 9000 audit quality certification, the subject matter expertise for each department, and the quality assurance representative. Audit notification. Audit notification should be done within a reasonable time before the audit. You would agree with the customer on the dates about 2 months before the audit, and a formal notification would be given 1 month before the audit. Notification should be in writing and should include the scope and the baseline of the audit, the schedule, the name of the lead auditor, and the draft agenda. During the kickoff or the opening meeting, you start with the introduction of the attendees. You'll meet the management and you'll meet the counterparts in each department, the quality assurance counterparts. Then you'll present the agenda to the team. This is done by the team leader. You summarize the audit scope and procedure, and you finalize the detailed agenda. After that, you get familiar with the company and the logistics, the assigned room, documentation access, phone lines, etc. Performance of the audit. When you execute the audit, you investigate by means of audit checklist. Use the audit checklist as a guide. Not all questions need to be asked. Adapt the wordings to your counterpart. Adapt the sequence of the questions to circumstances. And always look for objective evidence. Objective evidence is trace of facts such as reports, signatures, and certificates. Statements are not sufficient. It may be useful to note, like for example, we are told that this procedure is being worked on. However, feelings are not sufficient to conclude on the conformance of the requirement. If you identify a non-conformance or deficiency, confirm it with your counterpart. Questions to be answered by yes or no with notes explanation. Determine if the non-conformance is of a systematic nature in view of conclusions. Debriefing meeting. During the debriefing meeting, the audit team leader presents opinion on the audited results. He or she meets with the management of the audited organization. Each department auditor presents his observation sheet or non-conformances, provides clarification, collects signature, request formal response. The audit report contains 7 elements or 7 sections. The first section is the objectives or the purpose of the audit. The second is the requirements baseline. The third is the audit team members and the audit agenda, as well as the organization contacts that has been contacted. It also includes the summary of the results and the observation sheets listing all non-conformances. The final section is recommendations on each non-conformance and each observation sheet. The final phase is audit follow-up. During that phase, you evaluate the response from the auditee. You agree and formalize corrective actions and timeline. You follow up via verification visits, and then you close the project. Let's summarize what we have learned in this lesson. We defined what quality audit is. We listed the audit objectives. We defined the 4 types of audits. We outlined the audit process. We listed audit documents. We defined the audit report elements. For more information on the audit process, visit iso.org, im-edu.org. With this slide, we come to the end of the lesson. For more information on this lesson, for questions and answers, reference materials, and textbook please go to UNINETTUNO University and click on Medhat Younes section. Thank you.